You know why you clicked on this video? You want to try that Zeiss 50mm, don't you? Me too. We're just gonna go and we're gonna pick up the Zeiss. We're gonna compare it to the XF, the Fujifilm XF 50mm F2, and we're gonna also compare it to an adapted lens from the Canon FD. Yeah. Note to self, next time bring a better tripod. Well, as you can see, this is the 50mm 2.8 on the Fuji X mount. It's called the Zeiss Touit or Touit. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Probably butchering it right now. This is my first Zeiss lens. I just wanted to see how it compares to the other lenses in the group. I've been told that the bokeh on this is more onion ring or soap bubbly, but I'm really not sure. Other bokehs look fine to me. I have no idea what the difference is. Some people say that when the bokeh balls are sharper, it kind of gives a more vintage look to the videos or photos. One thing though, I've seen on a lot of German websites that they put made in Germany as a feature. This is not, however, made in Germany, it's made in Japan. One thing I gotta say, made in Germany ist kein Feature. So it is not a feature. It's cool. I mean, I do love the sharpness of this lens, but yeah, basically this lens costs around, this lens I think came around and was announced in 2013 and came out in 2014. Here it is on the X-T4. But the XF lens, which we're going to try next, came out I think in 2019. The price difference between these two lenses double the price. So this came out, it was $1,000 or something, around that. Don't quote me on that. And the XF Fujifilm lens came out and it was about $450, or I think now it's $450 US. Let's see how its autofocus works. Does it see me? Ow. So here we are with the XF 50mm 2.0. Right now it's on the widest aperture. I wanted to just give it a try and see what it looks like with the biggest aperture. Now we're going to turn it into 2.8. Here we go, 2.8. How does it look? Do I look in focus? Is it keeping track? Because I'm guessing with the hat, can't find my eyes with all this bush. How does the background look? If I look away, does it hunt for focus? I mean, autofocus is on, in-body stabilization is on also. Now let's see how well it can track focus off me. I'm gonna creep towards it like a creepy little guy. Oh my God. All right, here we go with the Canon FD. This is a 1.4 lens, I believe. And this is a 50mm OSS lens. How does it look? I don't know if I'm even in focus, but I just thought I'd give you a peek on how this lens, one of these adapted lenses, look. Well, I can't really check the focus. Don't even know if I'm in focus. But how does the bokeh look? Pretty good. Well, let's try it at 2.8. Here we are at 2.8. How does it look? Is the bokeh gone? Can you see a difference? Can you spot a difference? I'm guessing there's a lot of color differences. But later on, we'll just shoot some videos for me to talk over. So let's get to that. So here we are recording with the Canon FD lens, pulling focus to the tree in front and to the background, the tree in front and background. Now I'm going to do it as slowly as possible. Now let's try the XF lens. Here we are with the XF lens. I can touchscreen autofocus. If I put it on continuous, of course. I can focus here, I can focus on the people, focus over there, and back to the tree here. Focus back over there, focus back here. Now it's at f2.0, and I'm gonna just touch to focus here. And I'm definitely shaking the camera by touching with my fingers. Here we are with the Zeiss lens. And we're just gonna tap to focus on the tree here, tap to focus on the people back there, the tree, the people, that tree, the top there, and the tree in front. Yeah, it's better exposed. This just has much better sharpness for some reason. I feel like there's a lot more separation, even if it's higher aperture. So this is where the Zeiss truly shines. This is basically 10 centimeters, about 4 inches away from the camera, and it focuses really well. Now coming back, does it keep up? The focus is nice and slow and keeps up with demand. Now let's try the Fujifilm and tap to focus. And you see, it can't focus that close. So we gotta come way back here, and now we can focus on it. So that's the difference. I'll put them side by side, just switch it back and forth so you can see the difference there. But other than that, this lens is really cool, especially the focus tracking. It's smooth and beautiful. Doesn't breathe too much. You can get really nice shots out of this. Now, to just see a more bokeh, I'm gonna switch it to 2, and you can see that now, like, only a few flowers are in focus, and the rest not. So switching to a Canon FD. Now for this, of course, I gotta manually focus, so bear with me. Let's see how close we can get. So that's the closest we can focus. I'm gonna put it on manual so I can peek. It's the same as the 50mm from Fujifilm, the XF lens. But if you get used to the focusing, you can also get beautifully focused shots, like so. Now it's very hard to see your focus in bright sunlight, but with practice, it can be mastered. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and show you some photos So here's a comparison between the Canon FD lens, and this is the Fujifilm. If you look over here, you can see that, you know, this is quite sharp, whereas this one is a bit more blurry. But other than that, I don't see much difference in these close-up shots. They're very similar. You can see this is the XF50 F2, and this one is the Canon FD lens. When you get the focus in, you're pretty much good to go. So let's go and compare it to, so that was the XF, and now we're going to compare it to the Touit. So my focus is a bit off, but that's another point. This is not focused by me, it's focused by the lens itself. So if you're focusing with autofocus, a lot of the times I saw that it kind of tried to get the focus, then I tried again and again and again, and then he got it right at the third time. That's one thing to be aware of. Now looking at these smaller flowers, this is the Canon FD lens. You can get pretty nice shots with that. It just takes time to focus. Yeah, and that's the problem with that lens, is just getting things in focus. But when you do, it's magical. So I have these in focus. Great. This is the Canon lens. These are in focus. Also great. But you can see these are bigger on this side, as I was able to get closer with that lens. So it's not really a matter of which lens is better. Like for example, this shot is one of my favorite ones. And this is just to show you, if you get things in focus, you can see very minute detail with the Touit Zeiss lens. But it is definitely difficult to get things in focus. Again, another shot that was in focus in parts. But when there is focus, it's always sharp, really sharp. Like shots like this, I wouldn't be able to do with other lenses, basically. So this is just a spider web. Again, this is a crack on a pillar, and the detail is just fantastic. Same here. Was a car, and the detail is just amazing. So yeah, when the Zeiss is in focus, you're happy, but when it's not, you're not. What did we learn? Basically, this is one of the best lenses I've ever used. I really enjoyed using it. It felt really good. It feels great in the hand. I mean, on the camera, it feels great. The weight is not distributed badly in any way. It feels great, especially with the lens hood on. I like this smooth look. Compared to the Fujifilm, this is the kind of difference that you'll be expecting. So if size is a concern for you, definitely go with this one. You're not going to get much out of this that would be super different from this. Comparing these two together exclusively, basically I don't have the 1.4 50mm. I think 1.4 is overkill for 50mm because you get the edges really blurry. If you go back and look at the scene where I was sitting down on the chair and I was using this lens at 1.4, you'll see that, you know, around my hat it was just fluff. And you know, the out of focus distance, the bokeh you get with this is still as good. You don't really need, with 50mm, you don't need that much of a wide aperture. This, however, shines when you're changing focus from one plane to another. Now this does it so smoothly, tracks objects really nice. It's just a really good video lens. But usually I go out and shoot with this, but I shoot pictures with it mostly, not video. I use this for video most of the time. This is the Fujifilm 16mm 1.4, and this is the 50mm 1.4. So this 50mm is really good for portraits, for pictures and stuff like that. Sometimes for far away buildings, rarely. But it's a very good lens to have in your kit. I don't really like the 35mm on the APS-Cs because it's a 50mm, yeah, but it's not wide nor zoomed in. It's just like what my eyes see, so I find that a bit boring. With this lens, I would use it for video a lot, and this is a good travel lens because you can take it anywhere, really. It's very small. This lens, oh boy, I love this lens. The look I get out of it is very vintage. It's a beautiful lens. It's a bit big. I mean, I don't really care for all this build quality of Zeiss that everybody raves on about, like any other lens. Actually, this is much nicer. It feels metallic and solid, whereas this feels a bit hollow. And you've got this tiny little lens. You know, when I point a camera at someone, I don't want them to see this. They'll be like, oh, can't you afford a better lens? But, you know, I want them to see something like this. Oh, hello. Big glass. Call me old-fashioned, but hey. But yeah, so basically, this is really sharp. Focus is really close. And it's just one of those lenses you can keep forever, really. Whereas these ones, you know, a better version will come out. Of course, Zeiss might make better versions out of these lenses anytime. So these are not investments, but things for creative tools. What I liked about it is the vintage look that this gave me. And, you know, altogether, if you can pick this up for a good price, I say go for this one. If you can pick this up for a good price, you'll have a good lens for video and for shooting portraits. And you get a stop of aperture above this. But this, if you want to shoot close up, really sharp, like this crack over here, I don't know why would you need that, but this will do you real good. And, you know, just for those of you who adapt lenses and you have lenses to adapt, sometimes things like this Canon lens was an amazing lens compared to these. It had nothing that these lenses had that this didn't have except autofocus, right? So if you are willing to focus manually and you're not really in a rush or you're just doing it for fun, these adapted lenses are good enough. Don't waste money on these. I mean, it's not a waste, but, you know, if you don't have it, it's a waste. But, yeah, so this has been another Suboptimal Jedi video. I give you honest truths. I do it suboptimally, so you can do it optimally. Bye!